Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Ahmed or Bigak. Salamu alaikum and welcome to today's video. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be touching on a event that happened within the last day or two, and this is going to be involving Lebanon today. And Israel has been stepping their foot into Lebanon quite a bit over the last month. They have been doing some pretty testy things. They've been testing the waters in Lebanon, trying to see what Lebanon's reaction would be, how they'll react, what they'll do. And Israel wants to take this war way further than just a Gaza problem or a Palestinian problem. They want to take this war to a global level. They want to pull in their allies. They want to pull in their enemies. And they want to group these people up into large armies. They don't want it to be Israel versus the Palestinians. They want it to be Israel and America and Britain versus Iran and Russia and China. That's how they want this war to go down. They don't want this to be a small or simple war. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the news source about what happened. Hamas leader killed in Lebanon. IDF withdrawing some troops from Gaza. So we're going to go ahead and read these little caption points and figure out what actually happened here. Israel says it will draw 5 military barrages, including many reservists from the Gaza Strip this week to pace itself for an expected long-term conflict and to mitigate damage to its economy. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the war is expected to go on for many more months. Okay, so that makes sense. We're drawing troops back to keep them prepared, because why keep them in Gaza, and risk them in burn economy and keep people outside of the nation when they can bring them back in and get them prepared to fight a bigger, more needed war, right? When they pull Lebanon in, they pull Iran in, and they pull these other countries in. Israel's Supreme Court struck down a key part of Netanyahu's judicial overhaul. It makes sense. No one really agrees with this guy. Everyone's telling him to stop and calm down, but this guy does not stop nor calm down. Saleh El-Aroui, a senior Hamas leader, was killed in an airstrike in the suburb of Beirut, along with 6 other people. This right here is going to be a big problem. I'm going to tell you why this is going to be a big problem. Regardless who died, you struck the middle of Beirut, dude. You struck a suburb in Beirut with a strike. You're now striking Lebanon and Lebanese people and killing Lebanese people to get rid of some Hamas leader or militant leader, right? But what about the other Hamas leaders? What about what about Gaza? What about the Hamas leaders that are hiding in Yemen or in Gulf countries? Why are you striking Beirut? You're striking Beirut as a direct result to inch Lebanon into a war. You want Lebanon in a war. You want the government to also give go to South Lebanon to go into war. You want Hezbollah to go into war with you, so you can group Hezbollah and Hamas together, and then you can say, oh, look, they're teaming up on us. We're now in a war from our south, and we're in a war from our north. America, please help us. Because America's not necessarily putting any force in. Yeah, they might be funding the war, and they might be funding Israel, but America's not grounded in. Neither is Britain. None of the Israeli allies have basically stepped in physically to help fight, right? There's no legit blood on America's hands. America isn't in there shooting, missiles into Gaza. Israel's doing it with American-funded weapons. But what they want is America physically in it with them. They want American soldiers. They want your dad. They want your brothers to get up and go fight a war for the Jewish people of Israel. That's what they want. They want our lives to be sacrificed for them in a way bigger cause than it already is right now. I'm going to tell you something about Netanyahu. He is the only leader on the planet that utilizes a religious factor to do everything that he does. No other place in the world can you just go to court and be like, I'm so sorry that I murdered that guy last week. But it says right here that I'm Jewish, and that if I'm Jewish and my grandpa is Prophet Jacob, that I can just murder people. And if I murder them, all I have to do is say sorry, and God forgives me. So legally, you can't really put me in jail because even though it's illegal in your country, I'm resolved from those laws. Like I can kill people because God said I can on page 42. That never would work in court. That never would work in any judicial system in the world, except in Israel. Israel can take a whole entire landmass, murder people, destroy people, kill them, commit genocide, pull tens of countries into war. And it's because God granted it to them. It's in their religious text. There's no financial or global benefit to Israel as far as the reasons that they give us. It's only been a problem. There's no economic advantage. There's no political advantage. There's nothing. Israel's an apartheid state that is super racist, that only welcomes Jewish people back into their homeland and only Jewish people back into their homeland. Everyone else is a second-class citizen. If anyone else is trying to tell you so, it's complete BS. You can go read the laws, read the rules and statistics. My name is Ahmed, and if I travel to Israel and I have Jewish roots myself, I'm going to have a problem. They're going to scrutinize me. They're going to destroy me. I'm Muslim. My name is Ahmed. Do you think they're going to like me there? They're not going to like me there. They don't want me there. Come on. You think I'm going to get the same privileges as someone in court? The same privileges as someone who's trying to get a loan, buy a house, get a car in Israel? You think I'm going to get the same privileges as a Jew? Come on. So that's a problem, bro. There's nothing great necessarily about Israel. Like, there's nothing wow, this state is so amazing, and Benjamin Netanyahu is so amazing, and he's such a logical political leader. No, the guy opens the Bible every 2 days and goes, the Messiah's coming. I'm talking to the Messiah. Kill the Palestinians. This is our land. My grandpa's Prophet Jacob. Israel is God's land. And he just does that over and over and over again. There's no other political leader in the world that does that. You can't get away with that, bro. You can't use a religious book from 2,000 years ago to just justify the slaughter of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people over time. Like, what is wrong with you, dude? Like, no. Like, Putin, imagine Putin got on stage and was like, we're destroying and killing Ukrainians because in the Bible it says that we, the Russians, we were granted all of Europe. So I'm sorry, France, Germany, you're next after Ukraine. And Spain and Italy, you're next. Because in the Bible, it granted the Russians Europe. And you guys are in our way. It's like that. It's like, how can you use that to really justify your case on what you're doing right now? Meeting of the Israeli cabinet, at which leaders were expected to discuss plans for post-Hamas Gaza, has been postponed. The government's current plans involve local Gazan clans administering areas enclave rather than Palestinian Authority. Israel also NBC News. They're talking about what's going to happen after the war, and they were just like, scratch that. There's no after the war. This is going to get worse. More than 22,000 people have been killed in Gaza since the war began, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. More than 55,000 have been injured and thousands more missing and presumed dead. 22,000 people have been dead, have been murdered, half of these being children. And who's going to call this a lie? All of you ignorant people. All of the ignorant. This is NBC News. So who are you calling a lie? Right? You're calling the Palestinian Health Ministry a lie? But you believe your own propaganda bullshit media? You believe Israel's media? Like, we all know the government lies. We all know the media lies. We all know the media uses their outlets to control certain situations and implant fear and twist stories. We've known this. We all know this. We all know how the press works. We all know how a story works. We all know when you go to school and you're telling a story, you might add a couple things in here and there. Like, you went to the park and you fought some kid. You know, instead of telling your friends like you fought a little kid, you know, you're gonna tell them I fought this big guy. He was really strong. He walked up to me, thought he was gonna beat me up, and I dropped him. It's like you add some extra effects, some lies into the truth of the story to boost it, to make your story sound interesting, right? So that's what the media does as well. So don't just trust everything you hear. But 22,000 people have been killed in Gaza makes complete sense. From what has been happening, the destruction, the amount of destruction, what they have done, just, I mean, blowing up the hospital alone killed hundreds of people. So, I don't know, man. This is getting bad, and Israel's trying to pull everyone into a world war. Are you guys willing to fight a world war for Israel to have their Jewish state as it was stated in the Old Testament? Are we all really black, white, German, Swedish, Arab? Are we all really going to go and die so Jewish people, the 6 million Jewish people on the planet, one of the smallest populations of people on the planet, can have their homeland and continue to terrorize the people around them? Are we really going to put our lives on the line? Are we really going to keep paying our taxpayer dollars? Like, if I make $60,000 a year, am I really going to pay the U.S. government almost fucking half of that to send it over to murder my relatives and my family members and my descendants and destroy my land and destroy my home in Lebanon? Really? Like, that's what we're doing nowadays. It's sickening, bro. It's sickening. Is this what we want to do moving forward? Is this what we as people, as Americans, as people who have moved from hundreds of different countries into the countries, is that what we want to fund? Is that what we want to do? The destruction of our own countries? Economic collapses of our home countries? War in our home countries? Genocide, famine in our home countries? It's sickening, bro. It's sad. And we're allowing the United States and in the Western powers to do all of this. Unfortunately, we're allowing them to do it. We're allowing them to do it. As evil as all governments are, even the Eastern countries, evil powers. As evil as they are, man, I've never seen people do things in your face like the Western governments. Rub it in your face, gloat about it, confirm they did it, and people still not believe they did it. It's wild. It is the most deceptive state of ignorance I've ever seen in the West. Israeli military officials say at least 170 soldiers have been killed during the country's ground invasion in Gaza, which actually came to 1,200 people killed, about 240 hostages seized, and Hamas's launched multi-bomb grenade attacks on October the 7th. Matt Bradley and Josh Letterman are reporting from the region. So, I'll go ahead and tap it off here. They killed this guy. They killed this guy in Lebanon. And this man is a leader in Hamas, which is a militia group that is located in Gaza. And he is currently in Lebanon, and he was inside Beirut, and Israel decided to launch an airstrike and hit Beirut, where this gentleman was staying, and murdered him. Not only did they murder him, they had killed 6 other people. Doing this on Lebanese soil in another country that is no longer Israel is a big problem, guys. This is a very big problem. This is not Israel shooting Gaza, which they occupy and they own. This is Israel shooting Lebanon, a completely separate running country with its own economy, its own laws, its own trading systems, its own transportation systems, its own everything. You are talking about a complete country with military, militia groups, people, economic structure, everything. That's what you're tapping into now. And you've hit their capital. It's like someone just dropped a strike in Washington, D.C., in your capital, on, one of the military leaders of Israel, right? Because they're in America, and the other countries are at war with Israel. So you got to be careful, because now, imagine someone dropped a strike in Washington, D.C. and killed an Israeli official. America would be going to war. So Israel is trying to provoke a war that is much larger than the one that they're in. This has nothing to do with October the 7th. If you believe this, any of this has to do with Israel defending themselves from October the 7th, you are mentally ill. You are mentally not there. And I'm going to tell you this right now. They would not be provoking Lebanon. They would not be provoking Iran. They would not be provoking the world powers and calling out superpowers like Russia. They would not be pulling in the United States and pulling in Great Britain. This would not be a global cause at the moment if Israel was not trying to take this further. This is way deeper than, hey, we're going to hit Hamas and try to get rid of Hamas. This is, we want to cause a global financial and physical disruption so that we can fill those little pockets we've never been able to get in before. We need to weaken the current state of the countries that they're in. We need to get rid of specific leaders. We need to get rid of specific groups. We need to break down borders. We need to break down alliances and money and people, and that's what they're working on. This has nothing to do with October the 7th. This has nothing to do with October 7th. October 7th has been more than paid for. In 22,000 deaths, half of them being children, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of damage, rubble covering the ground of Gaza. And yeah, man, like, if you guys really think that's not enough from 200 hostages getting kidnapped, right? And most of them being returned, like, I don't know, man. This guy wants to go on for months and months and more months. What are you going to do for more months? Like, okay, you're going to war with Hamas, but are you? Are you? Is bombing the capital city of Lebanon going to war with Hamas? Are you? Be careful, guys. I'm going to leave it off here. Be very, very careful. Conflict is going to continue to grow. And this has nothing to do with October the 7th. This has nothing to do with Hamas. This has to do with Israel and America and the Western powers with their global domination plan. You know, they don't want all of the countries on the earth and they don't want to control everything. No. But they want to control a majority. And they want everyone else's tail down. Even the other superpowers, they want their tail down. So, the Middle East, breaking it up the way that they've been breaking it up for the last 30 years has been it's been crazy to watch. It's sickening. It's sad. But it's their plan. And Israel is a weapon. It is a tool to break down the Middle East. It's a tool to break it down and destroy it. And if you guys believe anything about religion, Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel are trying to push the end times. They're trying to summon the Messiah or the Antichrist. And this guy blatantly says it. This isn't like Joe Biden. This isn't like Putin, where they're just like, they don't talk about religion. This guy, Benjamin Netanyahu, gets on stage, quotes the Bible, quotes the Torah, and literally talks about how he's talking to the Messiah and he's bringing the Messiah back. And that state is a spiritual state. It is under a spiritual cause, and it is fighting a spiritual war. And the devil is very prominent in that state. And they're doing a lot of work there against God, against the soldiers of God, and against God's people. And where God's people are the devil's soldiers, are Satan's soldiers, and they're waiting. They're waiting. They don't have to do as much work to the kid who's going to do everything anyways. You're going to do drugs and have sex and do this. Come whisper in your ear a couple of times, you're going to do it anyways. Those demons have real battles to face. In certain areas of the world where people are trying to push real prophecies, real religious things. And it's coming to a time where it's getting crazy. And the world that we're living today, 2024, is going to be crazy. Financially crazy. Physically crazy. The world's going to change as we know it within the next year. I love you guys. God bless you. Keep looking into it. Stay alert. Israel's trying to swindle Lebanon and Iran into a much larger war. And if Lebanon and Iran come into a war, America will have no choice but to come in. Ground troops and all. Love you guys. Till the next one, we talk again. Leave your likes, comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you have any more topics, any more discussions to talk about, let me know below. Be aware. Wake up. I love you guys. Free Palestine.